There are many problems that are plaguing Gen Z in the dating sphere, but we don't have time to go through a full dissertation of it all. One of the biggest problems Gen Z complains about in regard to dating is the fact that it is now prohibitively expensive, as we are on the brink of a recession, an economic crisis, and Gen Z is already broke enough. They can't afford to go on dates. I just came across this think piece. What does dating look like when no one can afford anything? It's not just something that affects dating, obviously. This is a larger cost of living crisis that affects multiple facets of your life. But they say the economic crisis is affecting nearly every aspect of our lives, including our relationships. In this economy, finding love can now cost a small fortune. Right now, the average American, this is insane, is spending over $2,200 a year on dates. That's kind of insane. I didn't expect most Americans to even be dating that actively, and that would average out to $168 per date.
Ugh.
Where are these people going?
Jeez.
What is that? Sounds fake to me.
It's like so it's like $40 to eat dinner and then like an 8-ball of Coke and
I'm really
Yeah.
confused who they are surveying, but they're saying this is the average cost of a date in America. They say cost of living is already high, and they say most people already struggling to afford bills, food, and rent. Who has the money to entertain a different Hinge date every week?
Well,
the current state of our economy is changing what dating looks like. A 2024 survey found that because of inflation, some people are spending less on dates while others are going on fewer dates altogether. Others are switching up typical dates to fit within their budget.
Well, the average is probably like 40, 50, but then Drake like shoots up the mean because he's spending like millions to rent out Dodger Stadium.
I mean, I guess if they're averaging it out, then you might include
Drake
some
and
really
Bezos are just
absorbent
jacking it
costs
up.
in
Yeah.
there.
Dingus Khan says Cheesecake Factory. Well, that was a bone of contention like 2 years ago, whether
Right.
Cheesecake Factory was an acceptable first date spot.
I think that the main issue with it is, first off, you're meeting this person for the first time and you're both gorging yourselves on 5,000 calories apiece, so that's not really sexy. And second of all, I think that most women would probably prefer you like looking for a restaurant that's not a chain restaurant.
Yeah, you want to go to Olive Garden?
Like, they would prefer maybe something that's the same price point but less generic than a Cheesecake Factory. But the main problem, in my opinion, is like you're both going to weigh 10 pounds heavier leaving the establishment.
And then you're like, remember, this is water weight. Like,
Yeah.
You could be
start
you could be a
coping
plus size
immediately.
model after this.
But now people are looking for cheap date ideas such as
how do you feel
picnics.
about movie for a first date?
That's a bad idea.
I understand the logic behind that, behind the idea that you're going to go for 2 hours
But you're not
and you're not going
talking.
to talk about anything. But the idea is like you take them to a movie and then you discuss it afterwards, and you can learn a lot about a person's worldview. By
Yeah, you
how
watch
they perceive-
Superman on your
yeah.
first
But you
date.
can't-
You're like,
This is
oh,
woke
Kansas
crap.
man. Oh, okay.
Right, like you
Probably what
can't
Jeremy
just
Dufresne did.
How do you discuss it afterwards?
Well, you go out afterwards.
Yeah, you have to pair it with something else,
You
which
fire
makes
on
it double the
Pop culture
expense.
crisis
Continue.
and get the analysis.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that just makes it double the expense, though.
It's true.
I mean,
how is
I
that-
wasn't going from the money perspective. I was just saying about the efficacy of a movie as a first date, which is hotly debated. But continue.
I honestly don't think it's even an unpopular opinion. Most people are pro as long as you go to the movie first.
You should talk during the movie, so that way it's you
Yeah.
guys against
Yeah.
everybody there.
Speaking of Black Superman, sorry. One of the comments is great. Like their proposal for what an actual good date looks like.
Okay.
Puzzle nights with edibles and a good comedy.
The most millennial.
Oh,
thing.
I would harm myself if that happened to
is
me. That
so
sounds
up-
like hell.
Why would you take edibles with a stranger?
Well,
That's extremely
yeah.
at their house.
While
Yeah.
Stomp Clap plays in the
That
background.
is
Yeah, with
actually
a good
like
comedy.
you're risking your life, actually, like to go to someone's house you've never met before and then taking mind-altering drugs.
Yeah, that's what brought Cosby
That's
down.
not a good idea.
You're doing puzzles while you're on drugs, watching like John Mulaney in the background. Like that sounds like that's what's going on at Alligator Alcatraz.
I think like
Making them
more
do
likely
puzzles.
than anything, people aren't getting creative with date ideas. They're just opting out. They're not dating because it's too expensive.
Yeah.
They're not coming up with alternatives. One of the comments even said that, just stay single. It's cheaper emotionally and financially. you can probably tell yourself the
I mean,
reason is
that
the
weighs on
monetary
you.
cost, but it's
Yeah.
also just a general attitude of avoidance around dating that Gen Z has, an attitude of commitment phobia, etc. 60% of Gen Zers have said they wouldn't spend more than $50 on a first date, and 96% of millennials said they also wouldn't spend more than that on a first meet of from like a dating app. And then there are 77% of daters saying that dating would be easier if they had more money, with some going on fewer dates due to inflation. And then there's the obvious controversy of who pays for the dates, which is still hotly debated. And it seems that that attitude actually about splitting 50-50 hasn't changed in the generations as they get more liberal. This was a piece in the New York Times. For Gen Z, an age-old question, who pays for dates? Young people tend to lean more liberal on a range of issues pertaining to relationship norms, but when it comes to dating, the idea that men should pay still prevails in heterosexual courtship.
It's always an a la carte menu when it comes to these types of things. They're like, I'll take a little bit of the equal pay.
Yeah.
Oh, pay on the first date.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, to be fair to the Gen Z women, they didn't actually spearhead the feminist movement. They were born into
And
it.
guys, you should pay on them. You should pay.
Why is
We're
that your take?
We're splitting the cost of the edibles.
Look,
Right? Like Venmo me for the edibles?
yeah.
like,
Sounds like awful.
I don't have a way to put it into like a really, really well phrased sentence. You just it just makes the most sense.
So
to
it's
me.
just an intuition
It's
thing
an intuition that like look, I'm not saying that it's not like a world of bullshit now where there's probably people out there who will take advantage of you for doing that, but
There
it's
is
just like the chances of getting the second date with a woman who's just like, and then he made me split on the first date. Like I guess I just think of it as just it's your responsibility.
there are these,
Then you can tell her to do the dishes, okay? After that, you can be like, okay, but when we get married, you're going to do the dishes and you're going to do all the cooking.
there are jackals out there. I saw a TikTok of a girl and she lives in New York and she's like, I don't try new restaurants. I just go on Hinge and I get to try them for free.
Well, you're gonna find that more in a place like New York City than
That's where everyone
than anywhere
lives.
else.
That's the
But
problem.
I've always had this take. I am just a very intolerant person, and the idea of having to spend an hour or even more than that with a stranger who I'm not interested in, who is probably boring and annoying, just for food
Yeah.
is not even like, I wouldn't even find that appealing. I am not like driven by free food. Eating is a cost in and of itself for me. So
Yeah,
like,
but that's still a thing now.
I don't understand the impulse, and I don't know if it's as common as people even say, because I'm guessing there are a lot of women who probably dread the thought of spending time with someone they dislike at a restaurant just for food. I think that's more of a scare tactic that is spread by like manosphere types. But
Yeah.
I just came across this interview with Charlie Kirk. He's talking to the hosts of the Iced Coffee Hour about this specific debate, and he's saying basically that this co-host is a beta male because he doesn't pay on dates. And Charlie Kirk is married, by the way. He's talking to two guys who are not married.
They want to be taken care of. I know this is like super provocative, but like deep down, they want a man to be able to provide for them financially.
Should a man pay on the first date?
100%. Like, what kind of a wuss beta male is splitting the check? Like, who are you? It's like, I'm just sorry. It's
Wait,
so. I would go into debt and like scrub dishes before a woman paid for it.
I split the check quite a lot.
So
quite a
I'm
lot.
sorry. I don't mean
Yeah.
to offend you. You guys are great. That's incomprehensible to me. I think that's
To me, I thought it was a great financial decision. Just
okay.
like,
So from your prism, I totally get that, and like you have
He's like, so you're broke. I get it.
really good
From your
financial
prism.
discipline. I'm sorry. Like I would be so humiliated if
I'm
I
more
didn't-
with
no,
you
no.
on
I mean,
that.
it's like I
I
find
did
that to be
not
like the
care.
greatest beta male like
to
humiliation.
save money.
To like the idea that a woman that you're trying to court. Now, if it's like a friend thing or
as a first date, you don't even know if
it
she's
doesn't
like
matter.
the qualities
It does
worth.
not matter. I'm sorry.
I see.
By the way, that money you save is not worth the honor that you compromise.
It is such a big deal.
It's a massive deal. Women.
Dude, that was
I mean,
was
it may
brutal.
seem unfair, but he's right.
So you think like directionally you're kind of on Charlie Kirk's
Yeah,
side with this?
like-
No,
They're,
but the other guy
he's-
didn't care about like the gender roles. He was just like, I can save some money.
Yeah.
He's just
Like,
nickel and
like
diamond.
he might have like a pocket menu of women who are just like, wow, I like how he doesn't give a crap. Like, I like how fiscally responsible he is. This is a man who's gonna have a 401k and then some.
She's
like,
just picking up Dave Ramsey
I
acolytes.
just feel like maybe this guy wouldn't be on so many first dates if he just
paid for the first date.
yeah.
That's kind of like, I guess that was
Paid
kind
for
of,
the first
that's the way I was thinking of trying to put it into words, is like, it's the price you pay to limit how many first dates you have to go on.
Look, he's ending really bad. I had a friend, I won't say where he lived because then everyone will know who I'm talking about.
Okay.
And he went on a first date and he got fired up about this whole thing. He was like, no, I'm going to make her pay. 'Cause I always pay for the first date. First, they go to Logan's Roadhouse.
Make her?
Yeah.
How do you make someone pay?
Well, at first they went to Logan's Roadhouse.
He's like, oh, I forgot my wallet.
Logan's Roadhouse.
They both got
That's
ribs.
quite a choice.
And he got ribs on the date. And then so we text him after it goes
choice.
through. We're like, "Did you get her to pay?" Okay, it wasn't like a very conservative area. And he's like, "Well, did your plan work?" And he's like, "She threatened to shoot me." So he's just covered in ribs, like just like, "You're paying, right?" And it just gets threatened.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So yeah, I think this only works if you're in specific regions as well.
Here's the thing. People in the chats keep mentioning, so where women are not equal to men. And this is like, no, this is one of the things in the world where it is simply the way that society has evolved is unfair to men. And that's just the way it is. You gotta bite the bullet.
Well,
on
no,
this.
I mean, it's not because of anything being unfair. It's because
I'm saying that-
men and women are different. And yeah, the people who deny those differences are stupid, but they're still, I mean, regardless of what someone says in their words and how they express their worldview, obviously they're going to act a different way. They're going to act in a way that is in accord with reality. And even the women who talk a big talk about being empowered and feminist and blah, 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 of course, yes, they want to be taken care of and they want the guy to pay on the date. Like, it's not a mind-blowing revelation. Of course,
Bro,
they want to
just,
be
like,
women.
pay on the date and then siphon gas out of her car afterwards to make
And
up
if you
for
really
it.
can't, if you can't stomach it, just say it's trad.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry,
Right.
this is trad. This is Lindy to do this actually.
Like, I can't let you drive.
Yeah.
I'm,
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
protecting you.
I'm a statistics guy. You
Yeah.
will get us killed. So
Like, look, it's just, I this is one that I have a hard time putting into words, but I feel like it's instinctual to men on a very deep level that it's your job to do it. And it sucks that the dating market has evolved into a place where there are scammers who just want a free meal. You ever see that story about the woman who's like gets mad because with her boyfriend because she brought like 9 friends to dinner for her birthday and he's like, I'm not paying for all of them.
Oh, yeah, insane.
Um,
Well, this reminds me actually of a conversation that we had a while back about proposals, where some people were saying women should be the one to propose.
No.
We put up a poll actually in the chat for you guys to respond and said, should men be the ones who propose? And it was incredibly split. I think maybe it was close to half and half
what?
of the audience said that men shouldn't propose.
about-
And
What?
there were a lot
They're
of people.
trolling.
No, like seriously, people were super chatting. I remember that episode saying that women actually should be the ones to propose.
Even like liberals.
I don't
even
know
do
if that was just people trying to rage bait or be
Yeah, they're
sensational,
rage
but
baiting.
like.
First
even
date-
even liberals don't like disagree with men proposing. That's like
First
just
Seems like
psychos.
liberals have more trad relationships than a lot of conservatives
Yeah,
these
it's
days.
true.
A lot of my friends that are liberal are married with kids, and I'm picturing like first date Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez. He's like, oh crap, forgot my wallet. She's like, oh.
Well, I mean, they almost certainly like share a bank account. So.
Well, no, I'm saying first date. First date. He's like, oh crap.
Well, that's another strong debate that people have about once you get married, should you have separate bank accounts? And I believe you have bonded yourself to this person forever. You absolutely should bond yourself in every aspect
Yeah.
of your life. You should have a shared bank account, 100%. But people on both sides of the political aisle will say that's a bad idea. The liberal women will say that you should have a separate bank account because, your husband could always just turn into a maniacal villain overnight and you need to escape him and you can never trust a man. And then a lot of the men on the more like conservative side of the aisle will say you should have separate bank accounts because otherwise your wife is gonna mooch off of you, which is insane as well. Like,
The two bank accounts just means you have your foot out the door at all times. That's all that means.
Yes.
I'm not gonna lie. Like, there's never like I will not allow Olivia to pay for any type of like I would be embarrassed to go to the waiter and be like, oh, it's on her.
Yeah, that's
like,
embarrassing. Yeah.
Like at one point she's like I'm gonna buy us like ice cream when we were out, and I was like, I can't. I'm sorry. And like the lady who was working the counter at the ice cream place is like, yeah, good idea, bro.
Yeah.
Like, no, just no. Like, it's in today's society. You may not be expected to go out and hunt water buffalo, but you can pay for dinner.
Yeah.
People know this. People understand this. Like, it was a famous King of the Hill episode where Hank gets a motorcycle and him and his wife, they join a biker club, and he like goes to the bathroom, he comes back and his wife's in the front seat. He goes, "Duh, Peggy, that's the bitch seat." It's like everyone understands the gender, like we get it.
Yeah.
So you're just lying to yourself if you're like trying to talk yourself out of it. It's like the men that are in favor of this, it's just from a position of like vitriol where it's like we're getting revenge for the feminist stuff, and I'm like, it's just like it is what it is, dude. Do you really want to marry a woman that's like, I need to pay on the first date? Like, you don't want to marry that person.
Olivia Claire is in the chat. She said bro paid for his own birthday dinner.
Oh, really? Yes. Okay.
I was like, I can't. They're gonna be talking shit in the back.
What if she just gives you her card? Then would it feel like less bad?
Then I have to still go home and look in the mirror. Like, no.
Well, you feel how you feel.
Yeah.
And this is how most people feel.
I wonder how it works in the polyamorous. Is like if there's two males and one woman, is like the alpha pay?
Right.
How does that work?
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.